Hello.
Ah,
Greetings.
hey. Caught me while I was reading this time.
What are you reading?
Uh, about new toys coming to War Thunder.
Uh,
Yeah, very uninteresting. Aside from it, yeah, just being
yeah.
highly anticipated, like things that have been waiting for years.
What new French stuff?
Oh no, not me, just like people in general. The B-26 Marauder, one of the very influential bombers of World War II, that just
Hmm.
hasn't been in game.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm okay. I'm all right. Uh, not much to say on that front.
Yeah, literally
Uh,
nothing has happened. So it's gonna be a very short episode today.
I was feeling really bad that like I'm gonna have to subjugate everybody to like 10, 15 minutes of Hamilton talk. Uh, thank God for world events. Giving us at least something.
Oh,
Um, you know,
yeah,
uh,
it's been a shit week.
yeah, yeah.
So for those of you not in the know, who get all of their information about the outside world from Sad Bear on Guy, Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, has invaded Ukraine by himself. Literally
Indeed.
no military at all. Just him walking in on a bear.
Oh, if only. If only things were still decided by single combat.
Mm,
That's who would win?
I mean,
Who would be the strongest world leader?
if trial by combat was still a thing, it the judiciary system would be a much more interesting place.
Mm, yeah.
Like there would literally be the state champion, the person who
Yeah, there would
fights
be.
on behalf of the state, and they can just
Yeah.
throw money at getting the baddest motherfucker.
Just fucking Kimbo Slice walks out.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, Strongest world leader? I don't know.
I mean, I've seen Boris Johnson rugby tackle a Japanese child,
Ugh.
so I know Boris can take a Japanese child. That is for certain.
Conversely, I've seen Jacinda Ardern cry. Um, so I think that rules us out. I don't know. It's a tough one because even Putin looks fucking old now.
It was like 70.
Yeah, but like having seen him now doing the speech for this whole invasion thing, it's the first time I've actually seen him in a while, and he's
Mm.
aged. He's lost a lot of his gauntness. I don't think he's
uh,
quite the judo champion he used to be.
Indeed. So I'm just posting this in voice in the stream. Uh,
Well, the picture of Boris Johnson tackling a kid. Yes.
the video. Yeah.
I don't know. Like they're all fucking old, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Um. I mean, Macron's kind of young, I guess.
True.
Um,
But
you know.
I don't like speculating like where without actually knowing where do you think they're gonna come from? Because it's like there's either gonna be someone from Africa, someone from South America.
Mm.
Actually, just those two, really.
Yeah. Well, I guess, or maybe some like Pacific Islander. Uh, could they seem to be girthy fellows.
I'm actually looking at this as like someone's got to have like fighting combat experience. Again, that was Putin's big thing before he got really fucking old, is he was really into judo. Well, that
Yeah, I mean, I think in that case, like Africa's got the edge on that. I think like the president of Angola used to be a soldier, you know. Yeah, but just in terms of general thing, maybe South America has a shot.
yeah.
I don't know. I think we're both talking out of our
Yeah,
arse
well, yeah,
here.
this is pure speculation. This is not to be taken seriously. It's just what country seems has a shot at having someone relatively young in power. That's
Mm,
pretty much that, and yeah, into martial sports is pretty much the two qualifiers for like they might have a shot at this.
yeah, yeah.
And I just went to go look on the outside chance that maybe South Korea's got something going for it, and it fucking doesn't. Their current president or prime minister was born in 1953.
Yeah, I think yeah, a lot of East Asians are just old men. Um, you know, that'd be how it be. Uh,
I also don't know who the fuck's taking over after Shinzo Abe.
it's 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 the second. I don't know his name, but somebody took over for Shinzo Abe and then they stepped down. So it's like the second leader since Shinzo. No, yeah, the second leader since Shinzo Abe.
Crazy.
Yeah, which was the entire reason why nobody wanted Shinzo Abe to step down, because before Shinzo there was like this revolving thing for like 10 years of like a new prime minister every year, and after it seems to be the same thing. There's been two prime ministers in 2 years. Um,
Literally
so
just too much fucking stress.
um, but yeah, sure. I mean, I guess we should actually probably talk about the invasion.
Well, the thing I honestly don't know what there is to talk about seriously,
Mm.
because as far as I'm concerned, like 90% of what you see at the moment is going to be bullshit.
Yeah,
Um, I'll say right
100%.
now, as much as I'd like for the alleged ghost of Kiev to be a thing, I don't think it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um,
and obviously, everyone who wants to believe it is a thing is a massive Ace Combat fan, so zero fucking credibility to those people.
uh, no, yeah. You're right.
But yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've got inspiring propaganda, alleged war crimes happening already. Although it's the less interesting war crimes. You know, apparently, Russians donning Ukrainian uniforms and stealing shit.
Mm,
Because flying
um,
the wrong flag is a war crime.
indeed. I mean, I should say I was planning on coming about 10 minutes before I came, but
Ooh.
I I yeah, I got distracted by catching up on my combat footage. Um, you know.
Oh, and on that note, apparently a YouTuber I follow who does War Thunder related content, had his shit played on Italian news.
What, just him playing the game?
Um, he doesn't really play a lot of his videos aren't really playing the game so much as like machinima style stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So apparently there was he did a very nice like post render of like an Iron Curtain being like a missile defense system. So you see missiles shooting at other missiles, and it looks very pretty in the night. except it was
Mm.
completely fucking fake.
And the Italians just yoinked it.
And the Italians just fucking ran with it. So we're not gonna know what's true or false for a long fucking time.
Yeah, and I mean that's something I've had to say to a couple of people in sort of before this all kicked off, when it was the lead up to it. Obviously Russia has the incentive to not be honest. Ukraine had the incentive to be honest, to highlight what was happening. But as soon as soldiers start coming over, then you've got, concerns like operational security and shit like that. So now, yeah, you can't trust anything from either side. And I think one of them is a lot more. Maybe it doesn't matter at the end of the day, but seeing Ukraine kind of be honest and kind of at least acknowledge that yes, now we are shifting our tack to more propaganda, at least sits with me better than just Russian constant misinformation. Even though the end result is the same thing on both sides. One of them I find is a bit easier to grasp. But yeah, it's. Oh, I actually got an extension for a piece of work.
Because of this.
Yeah. my essay was due yesterday. Now I should say, just for the record, that I do have a cousin in Kiev. It's one of those, like, it's the type of family member who you've maybe seen a handful of times in your life.
Oh, so like all
like
my
it doesn't-
family members.
Yeah, like what I don't want to come across as like yes, my very very close thing is what, like, no, it's a family member who I've sort of passively known about and met at a few weddings and such, and it's like, oh shit. And so I reached out to him because I found out about this going to. I stayed up way too late working on my essay the night before, and it was like at 4 o'clock. No, I went to bed at 3 o'clock, and I checked my phone at like 4 because I couldn't sleep, and I Fox had posted a picture of a suburb with an explosion over it, and I vaguely recalled reading 8 hours before on some Reddit thread, somebody had commented like, "Oh yeah, Telegram group saying Russian paratroopers are going to land at 5:45 local time," and of course I dismissed it, and I checked the time zones, and I was like, "Huh, this is after," and so I went on BBC News, and Russia declares war, and I wasn't able to go back to sleep. So I'll be honest, I spent pretty much all of yesterday just watching stuff, just kind of fully absorbed in the events, probably too much, you know. And I was every time I was trying to work on my essay, I'd get like 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, and my phone would buzz, or I'd have to, I had to call my family and stuff because they were wondering about things and our family member, and so yeah, it was like at 11 p.m. and I was like, shit, I'm not going to finish in time. So I just sent the request. I was 100% honest, and I just said, listen, like, it's my fault for leaving it to the last day. But in fairness, I didn't know Russia was going to invade today. I didn't expect that. I'm just a bit out of sorts. I haven't been able to do any work. Can I get a few days just to finish? And they're like, yeah, sure. So that's a disaster averted. But yeah, I got an extension. Literally, my reason given was Russia invaded Ukraine. Can I please hand my work in a bit late? and I got it. So how did you find out? When did you?
It was around 4 in the afternoon. I was playing War Thunder.
Mm.
And then I get like at everyone's with fucking memes about Metal Gear Revengeance and fucking everything.
Mm.
Yeah. That's how I found out. And yeah, I didn't end up sleeping much that night.
Mm.
Probably got to bed at about 10, 11-ish. Which, when you wake up at fucking 3 in the morning, is not fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, um, yeah, I don't have family, but I do have a friend in Odessa, and I'm kind of keeping tabs to make sure he's not fucking dead yet.
Yeah.
But um, he seems to be handling it well.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
like the day after, he's talking about how he was taking the bus into Odessa, and he's like the only. It's like the only vehicle going into the city while everyone's fucking piling out.
Getting out. Yeah.
And his fucking bus driver's just on his phone, not giving a shit. Like he's ringing somewhere. He's like, "Yeah, I'm fucking waging right now. I'm on that fucking grind."
I was gonna say, yeah, like forget Russia may be invaded, but the grind is eternal. Oh.
Oh yeah, so he
Yeah.
said, apparently like a couple of hours ago, he says the explosions are getting closer.
Sure.
But yeah, so I am very concerned for him. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, aside from that, no one here seems to give a shit. Like, normally when anything current events happens, you know, there's some fucking boomer in the break room giving their 2 fucking cents.
Mm.
Um, I had not heard the words Ukraine or Russia the entire day.
Mm.
Like, at all. No one had fucking said anything. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
oh no, go on.
I was just say kind of the sort of like similar and not similar here. Like a lot of people are talking about it, but it's very much a how this relates to like the concerns here are things like knock-on energy prices are going to go up, fuel prices are going to go up. Ukraine is responsible for a lot of our grain and shit, so food prices are probably going to go up because of sanctions and such. So there's a lot of concern on kind of more of the selfish end of the unironic what does this mean for Britain.
Yeah.
But yeah, there doesn't really seem to be much on the like. I did see a video of like there's a British volunteer unit in that airport outside Kiev. Um, it was weird hearing people with like Birmingham accents and, and shit.
Trying to pronounce Slav shit.
On the video, it was I mean, shit. Again, all of this shit is documented. I can literally just link it. I don't need to just talk about it. But yeah, basically the guy's like, we need to get out of here, and I couldn't tell the accent of the other guy. Maybe Scottish, maybe Northern Irish, maybe American. I'm not sure. It's literally recorded in a war zone, of course. And he's just like, well, make a fucking door. Like, just blow it up. And he's like, there's no door. Where is it? But yeah, it's again, my cousin's been on the radio and shit, and because he's from around here, so it's kind of like a lot of the things like, oh, there's a local lad in Kiev and whatever. So hearing him on the radio, and he's very calm. He's like, it's yeah, got woken up to explosions and shit. But oh, it's just it is mad. I'm not somebody who's well versed in like modern warfare, like all the footage that I've seen of conflict in the modern day has always been that very sort of, asymmetric combat, British soldiers against insurgents. So,
Yeah, it's.
uh,
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say like, it's definitely going to be one of those few conflicts where, at least in terms of a technological parity, the technological level, there is some level of parity. Ukraine is absolutely going to get its shit kicked in. Don't get me wrong, but this isn't some fucking brown man with his rusted ass AK trying to take down a fucking Apache from 5 kilometers away.
Yeah, it was mad seeing like fighter jets and helicopters being shot down on like both sides, of course, and just tanks littering and oh yeah, it's fascinating I'm very content in the fact that I'm not having to live through this. Like, it's fascinating in that sense. So I of course don't want to trivialize the fact that sadly a lot of people are going to die in this. It's obviously a tragedy, but that aside, as somebody who has the comfort of kind of viewing a war in high definition, and something can happen, and there's multiple angles of it. Like that's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like yesterday there was an awful picture of a she was covered up, but it was of a. I mean, I don't know how closely you've been following it and stuff, so I may be saying things that
Arguably
you
less
already know.
than you.
Yeah, like I always joke. Like this has been the thing I've been absorbed in. Again, probably not the best use of my time, but there's a picture of a civilian casualty, a 14-year-old girl. She was covered up and stuff, but and then a couple of hours later, there's the CC. Basically she sadly passed because of a rocket hitting the road that she was on a bike. And a few hours later, the CCTV footage from the building across the street comes out, showing the rocket hitting and the girl on the bike. Again, luckily it's quite low resolution or whatever, so you don't, obviously. But yeah, it's like that's fucking crazy. This is something. If it was in World War II, it would just be 70 civilians died in the taking of Marpio or whatever. Something like that. Whereas,
and then we get that one fucking like reel that's going to be used till the end of fucking time.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, on the topic of misinformation, apparently some people have also been posting old footage from the Battle of Grozny.
Really?
Now I will be honest, I'm not sure if by that they mean a Battle of Grozny during the Chechen Wars or a battle of the Battle of Grozny from World War II.
I'd assume it'd have to be Chechen.
Same, but
I think there's giveaways for 80-year-old footage, but yeah.
Nah, man, T-34 still strong. Basically,
yeah,
T-90.
It has been kind of weird. Yeah, I saw a comment of some guy who was like, "Man, like, I mean, this is an objectively shit comment to put on like a war, but it was just like, man, I've been playing so many games. I've been like a total armor boo for the past 5 years, and seeing like every tank just getting blown up is really bumming me out." It's like, that's your takeaway from this. Um,
Um,
that an attack helicopter can handle a tank. Like, um,
I mean
yeah, shit isn't like.
that's been a large part of the Russian doctrine for the past 30 years. When they
Yeah.
start realizing, hey, like for the price of a tank, we can build like two of these fucking armored cars carrying a bunch of fucking high. Oh, what the fuck's the word again? Not hyperbaric. But basically things that make things go boom a lot. Oh, thermobaric. That's the one I'm thinking of. But basically, missile carriers are kinda sort of cheap
Yeah.
against tanks. And I kind of
Yeah.
need to put that stipulation there because launching a $250,000 fucking high explosive missile against a Toyota Hilux is not cost effective.
Yeah, that reminds me of something I seen where it was a guy talking about like I feel when my entire lifetime tax obligation is the same cost as this missile, like this like Stinger missile or something. It's like man, I really hope they don't miss. Shit. But
Yeah, I do sometimes.
uh,
I'll be honest. I look at these things sometimes like, where the fuck's the money actually going in this? Like, how does this cost $250,000 when I can buy like rocket fuel, like an Intel CPU, and some like steel for like $3,000?
you're gonna get yourself on a watch list, mate. uh,
Oh, I'm on enough fucking.
Ukraine buy my missiles. There's a Raspberry Pi tracking system in it.
Well, that's exactly the fucking thing. Like, yeah, I do seriously wonder where a lot of the fucking money's going. Like, I understand back when this shit was designed in the 80s, but fucking, we don't need a TI-84 calculator in those fucking things anymore. You can, I mean, maybe not a Raspberry Pi. I do understand that there's got to be some level of proprietary nature to this shit, but it can't be that much.
No, of course it's not. Like it's the outgrowth of a military industrial complex. You know, as soon if America got invaded, like by whatever, um, those prices are gonna drop real fast, right? They're gonna find it's far more cost effective. A lot of these things will increase in efficiency by like a factor of 10, because they have to,
Looking at
because
you Raytheon. Get your shit together.
hmm. Yeah, so that's just like, but that's the thing. Right now, it's more of a. I know it's not an exact comparison, but that it's more of a boutique luxury market. Like yes, we have this ultra cool missile, but
It's so
you can't
cool.
get it anywhere
It's
else.
so cool. It knows where it is.
Yes. So give us $250,000. I know that for those American, apparently those new American destroyers, um the ones that look really angled and shit. Um, one of their weapon systems is offline because basically the entire bet was that the weapons would cost like a missile would cost like 100,000, um, for the fleet of 30. But after the Pentagon cut it to like 3, the price per missile is just like millions now, and so the Navy just went, oh well, we're just not going to use it. Like this just isn't. It's got the weapon system. It's just never going to be used, because they can't afford to use it. But yeah, you can bet if there was like a serious conflict, life finds a way.
Mm. What the fuck are they putting on their destroyer that they can't use then?
No, I saw it on a YouTube video. I'll try and find it for you.
I mean, I will 100% admit, like, naval shit, not my fucking forte.
Oh, same. I've watched all the house clips on YouTube now, so I'm just clicking anything. I, it's not like I was searching the stuff up. It just came up, and yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, my understanding is that the things that the U.S. Navy is using are relatively modular.
What do you mean?
Um, Oh, well, obviously a gun's a fucking gun. There's not some price constraint there, but like the missile system that they've been using for a very, very long time is basically just limited to its form factor.
Hmm.
You know, like
So they can't increase like the scale of it, but
kinda. It's basically their system is just we want the missiles to be this big. This is our like limiting factor, so that we can have an interchangeable whatever the fuck with it. Compared to what the Russians kind of did, which is we want the missile to do all of these crazy things, and the form factor is adjustable. So they have these big fucking destroyers with these giant fucking tubes like hanging off the fucking side of it, so that they can get a missile that does all of these crazy things that the Americans didn't think was that important, rather than just a system they can chop and change.
yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the fascinating things is a lot of this more experimental, more factor of design things are going to be tested. Um, like those British volunteers were saying that um, this is pretty much um, the kind of like the hardest conflict they've been in. Like, they're all like veterans and shit of like Afghanistan and stuff, and they're just like,
It's
we didn't have to see helicopters go over us, and that's just not something we've ever had to fight
it's
before.
literally fucking history repeating itself. It is the British Expeditionary Force hitting a European conflict after spending the past 30 years in a grab for Africa, where they've been shooting down fucking brown men with machine guns. Never,
You're right.
never once thinking that a machine gun will be turned on them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's.
Oh,
I think we're gonna.
yeah, we're literally in a repeat of the past century. Just the details been swapped around a bit. You know, the pandemic has happened before the World War this time. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I saw somebody say, maybe it was a report or an op-ed, I don't know, but it was saying that like a lot of people think this is like in Afghanistan or a Yugoslavia, like a modern Afghanistan. It's like, whereas this is a lot more like a Vietnam or a Soviet invasion of Afghanistan or a Korean War in the sense of it's not going to be World War Three, but you're going to have one nuclear power going to war and another nuclear power financing heavily the other side. Um, it's going to be a proper conflict. Um, but yeah, we're all armchair generals, I guess. So
yes, exactly.
we can't.
Oh,
Um,
well, on the topic of like how this affects everyone abroad, um, a fun little twist of fate where Poland has said it's welcoming refugees from Ukraine, and Sweden has said that it is not accepting as many refugees as it did with the last international crisis.
hmm.
I wonder why.
God. Oh, yeah, really, really gets the noggin jogging, eh?
Yeah. Um,
Shit.
mean, aside from that, there's talk of Finland allegedly maybe finally joining NATO.
Yeah, I heard Russia put a statement saying, warning Finland not to join NATO.
Russia's putting all kinds of fucking. That's
Yeah.
and that's the other, and another part of this is just kind of everyone questioning how unhinged this whole thing is gonna be. I've got this fucking resident Jew who's losing his fucking mind at the mere thought of how the conflict opened with Russia bombing the shit out of airfields. Like he's never heard of the 6 Day War before. For those who are not in the know, the 6 Day War was a Arab-Israeli conflict, which in the first 3 hours of it beginning, Israel had completely crippled the Egyptian Air Force.
I mean, even without that inherent irony of a Jewish guy not knowing the 6 Day War. I mean, hell, the first Gulf War as well. What was it called? The Shock and Awe campaign. I know that was like 6 weeks of bombing, but did pretty much the exact same thing. Before ground troops went in.
But yeah, so he's freaking the fact like, oh my god, they're attacking civilians. He's completely deranged. And then there's also this mild threat that Russian forces are now in control of Chernobyl.
Yeah.
So there's, oh my god, he's gonna use it as like a fucking like threat to the world. Like, if you fuck with me, I'm gonna open this up and drop fallout all over fucking whatever. Like he didn't have nuclear warheads in the first place.
I was gonna say, yeah, and the fact that the fallout will massively affect Russia. Like, you know, the bits of Russia that are arable, you know, or arable land. You know.
I mean, it's all gonna come down to meteorology at that point. Like, even the initial thing of Chernobyl didn't really affect Russia that much because the entire time there was just a strong west-facing wind.
Yeah.
Like the fallout basically just hit it. Most of it fell in Belarus, but it reached as far as like France.
No, yeah. I know. But like the other concerns with that would be, things regarding the water table. You know, things regarding like how do you use this? You can't just turn it back on. Like, you know, any form of like. This is an exceedingly dumb point. I don't know why I'm trying to think about it. It's.
It is, but I mean, we're dealing with a lot of dumb people at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is literally how we should have felt on the 6th of January. My heart goes out to all the Floydies in Ukraine.
Man, I'm pissed for the very selfish reason that I can no longer take a direct flight from UK to Japan. I mean, the conflict might be over by then.
Yeah, on the note of all the things going on, shout outs to Air India.
Alright, red pill me on this, because I saw all the memes and the Chad India memes and stuff, but like, why are they going in? Like, what's the actual reason before the joke?
I don't think they give a fuck. Truth be told, I'm not 100%. I don't even know if it actually fully happened. You know, like, all I've ever seen is it, like, basically being pretty fucking close to. Yeah, I've seen the tracker where it's pretty fucking close to Ukraine. I never actually saw it fly through. So, disclaimer on that bit. I don't know. I don't know if they were just minding their own business until someone radioed them. It's like, dude, you're about to fly into a fucking war zone, and then he just pulls a hard 90.
Yeah, they turned back. Ukraine closes airspace to civilian flights. Air India special flight returns midair.
Okay, there we go. Oh, there was also on the other topic of things. Apparently, the Battle of Snake Island now has a Wikipedia article.
Yeah, I mean that's a cool name.
I
Like,
I think
you
it was
know,
called the Battle of Snake Island, but yeah, tiny little island off the coast
yeah,
of Ukraine. Had 13 Ukrainian military personnel on it, and when the Baltic Fleet told them to surrender, they told them to go fuck themselves, and the island proceeded to get absolutely leveled.
yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of people. It won't surprise you to know that like Reddit and whatnot is overwhelmingly Ukrainian backed, or back in Ukraine, and I've seen a lot of people like glorifying this, and like I'm all for like obviously it's kind of badass, but at the same time, there's 13 people with no real capability. Like I get making them heroes and whatever, but man, like they didn't have to. What am I trying to say?
I think what you're trying to
It
say
sucks that they
is,
died. Like
yeah.
it's pretty pointless. You know what I mean?
In the words of the great Hillary Clinton, in war, the people most affected are the women and children that lose their husbands and brothers.
Mm, yeah,
Or something like that. I'm paraphrasing it, but the point is she basically made the fact that someone fucking died a woman issue.
yeah, yeah. But still, so I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, like I mean, it's obviously it's sad. I mean, yeah, controversial take. People dying is sad, right? Like, you know, but it's yeah, they there wasn't anything gained, and I don't know, maybe I'm just a zoomer who's not built for this, perhaps, but yeah, I can respect that they didn't back down, but the glorification is just propaganda, of course. Like, of course it is.
Mhm.
Well,
I agree. Welcome to Sad Be Around Guy, that we're going to agree that this war is not good.
it's absolutely fascinating, but it's not good.
Yeah,
You know,
it won't be truly
um,
fascinating for another 5 fucking years.
well, when you get the information about it,
Yeah, when
fully.
we get all the
Yeah,
post war like analysis and shit of what kind of sort of fucking went down.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it's a again, it's so weird. It's so weird that this is happening.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I didn't
surreal,
think he'd
like
actually fucking do it. I'll say
yeah,
that.
same.
But yeah,
That's what I mean. I literally saw somebody who fucking called it. He called it. He said at this time Russian paratroopers are going to go in 8 hours before, and just called bullshit. Like, of course it's not going to
that's because I don't
happen.
believe anything anyone says when they forecall shit. Oh my
Yeah,
god, the
okay, yeah.
next Call of Duty is gonna have an M4 carbine in it. Like, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe that this next Call of Duty game is going to have the most popular fucking assault rifle ever in
Yeah.
it because you've said that.
Oh my god, you're such a prophet.
Mm.
Wow. What are the lottery numbers?
I
Yeah.
wish I fucking knew because I've been trying for the past 3 years.
But yeah, God, it's I just can't wait for if this turns out to be a really big thing and I have kids and they ask me what were you doing when the greater Eastern European War broke out and it's like oh yeah I remember it distinctly I was listening to Hamilton in my bed when I got the news and I proceeded to get up and read Reddit. It's not the same as in the old days. Um, you know. but I do have to say I am contractually obligated to talk about this whenever we're done.
Where were you? I was at the recruitment center signing 5 years of my life away. Thinking I'd just have to sit in an airbase in Arizona and fly drones against little brown men. Worst mistake of my fucking life.
Yes, thinking that my Xbox controller skills would come in real handy. Fuck. Oh.
I saved myself by claiming I was transgender and getting an administrative role.
I mean, I have seen quite a bit of that, quite a bit of I'm all for equality, but if the draft comes back, just my place is the kitchen, you know. But what do you think? Is there anything else on Ukraine?
On the Ukrainian war? No, not really.
Well, red. Okay, I am in urgent need of a red pill right now.
Okay.
On one thing, as you are the closest thing I can say to an aviation expert that I can talk to.
Sure.
So there's been a lot made of this. Basically, there's been footage of a couple of helicopters shot down, and all the comments are like, "Oh my god, that's a Ka-52." Man, Russia only has 100 of them. Losses is really going to hit them. I don't know anything about the Ka-52. I never heard of it. Can you tell me something about it? Can you red?
The Ka-52 is the 52nd iteration of aircraft designed by the Kharkov Design Bureau. Basically their line of helicopters are kind of just iconic in that sense that they use contra-rotating main propellers to maintain balance.
Is that like two rotors? Like
yeah. So if
yeah.
you've looked at them, you'll see that they have.
I've seen the two spinny things.
Yeah, you've seen the two spinny things, but you haven't seen one on the side like you see on every other helicopter ever.
Oh, I mean, I never really looked for that. So there isn't one at like the back.
No,
like, on the side.
No.
Oh, okay.
So basically the way helicopters work, the top spinny one lifts you up, but while it's spinning, it's also kind of it's going to spin the actual fuselage around as well, because conservation of momentum and all that good shit. And the way that's typically offset is you have the propeller on the side that lets you adjust and maintain whatever the fuck you're doing. The Kharkovs do it the other way, where they have the two spinning in different directions, so if it needs to rotate, one spins more than the other. If it wants to maintain, they spin both at the same speed, etc, etc, etc.
Right.
As for whether or not, oh my god, they only have 100 of these, what are they gonna do? Probably use every other fucking hind that they own.
Yeah.
I can't really speak on all the fancy bells and whistles it has, and if it's better than what we'll say conventionally designed attack helicopters. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a thingy that carries fucking ATGMs. They've got a lot of them. Just because it's not a Ka-52 doesn't mean they're fucked.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. I just wanted to sort of know, because
it's not some,
it was
it's not some groundbreaking whatever the fuck.
Because I know the Challenger 2 has been hit, has been knocked out by friendly fire, but it is one of those things where it's, I wouldn't say it's super common knowledge, but it is one of those things that plenty of people know, even people who aren't interested. Is tank has not been knocked out, despite the fact that doesn't really mean much. in there. Yes, a lot more Abrams have been knocked out because a lot more Abrams have been deployed to a lot more places. Like it's not purely representative.
Well,
but...
there's also another thing there on like who's driving them. That's always a big thing. Like, oh, a shitload of Abrams have been down because they sold them to Egypt, but they don't. But no sane country is going to sell their cream of the fucking crop to some brown, unless you're France, actually. But France is a different story in the sense that when they were developing the Leclerc, they knew, hey, designing tanks is fucking expensive, and they basically put out an open bid to be like, if you invest in this with us, we'll give you, basically get the nice stuff.
Yeah.
And the United Arab Emirates kind of bankrolled the Leclerc, which they still technically got a different version because they wanted like a different engine and
air conditioning
something.
Or some shit.
Oh, absolutely air conditioning. Although air conditioning also showed up in later series productions of the French ones. So yeah, you'll have that. Also, like a lot of the faults of the Leopard 2s is usually citing sources of when Turkey got their shit kicked in when they were driving Leopard 2s. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like all I was I just wanted to know because there's people who are saying, oh yes, apparently one or two were brought down in Syria, but they were never confirmed. These are the first ever confirmed Ka-52s to be knocked out. This is a big deal. And then other people were like, the Ka-52 is the greatest helicopter in the world, and Ukrainian infantrymen are knocking them out. Man, Russia's really going to get their shit kicked in.
Yeah, it's almost like a fucking man. It's almost like they're really fragile. Like any aviation thing is very fragile because it relies. When you're sitting several kilometers up in the air, if something goes wrong, you fall down. And I don't know how much to like explain that. And it turns out a man pad will rattle fucking anything. Except for glorious fucking A10 and its bathtub design and how that's gonna fucking save it, and no. I'm not gonna talk about the A10 today.
Yeah, I was like, how do I approach this? Because my fault for bringing it up, but I really don't know enough about helicopters to rope you in.
Oh, no. I mean, you know what the A10 is.
Oh, the A10 Warthog, yes.
The Burt that doesn't really do anything. Except
no.
the plane.
We've definitely talked about this already. Now, I will say that moving on, maybe only temporarily from Ukraine.
However, I guess like the other thing is like, obviously I don't know everything about the Ka-52 and Ka-50, I'll say as well. Obviously someone who gets paid a lot more money than me decided they were worth pursuing.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't think it's reasonable to believe that whatever it has going for it is so good it should make it invincible.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to know. Yeah. Thanks for the red pill.
But yeah, aside from that, hey, look, fly things that carries lots of missiles. And if you would like to learn more about the Ka-52, you can play it in War Thunder.
All right, that's our War Thunder show out the way.
Yeah. You can buy the Ka-50, the predecessor, which is basically the exact same, except for the things that are different. End of War Thunder Shell.
Now, I do have to schizo post for a minute. Not related to Ukraine in any way.
You met Ryan Gosling. Except it wasn't really Ryan Gosling.
So, so I'm not going to talk at length about the Smash 2015-16 musical Hamilton because it's old and everybody has already heard of it. And I don't need to shill it. All I can say is that I liked it. However, I have a very mad schizo theory that the entire reason I watched it is all your fault, Moon. It's entirely your fault.
Okay. I haven't watched Hamilton at all.
So my theory works like this. You watch House.
I do.
Okay.
Or did.
Yeah, you enjoyed House.
I did.
House appears on my YouTube recommended. I watch House.
I don't.
I like House.
I'll put a stipulation there. I don't think me enjoying House has anything to do with you finding House and recommended because
I strongly disagree.
I had House on my recommended before someone was shilling House to me.
Again, I'm trying my hardest not to schizo post, but yes, I firmly believe that you talk about House, I Google House, bam, it appears on my thing. Yes.
Okay, so you're a subject of the surveillance economy, as Arf used to put it.
So, I watch House.
Yeah.
I watch clips of House.
You do.
Some of those clips are from season 6, episode 1 and 2, in which House is in the mental hospital.
He is.
And his roommate is Lin-Manuel Miranda. Lin-Manuel Miranda has been an extra in many shows that I've also seen, such as Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I've watched the clips of him in Curb Your Enthusiasm and in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Many other American shows. So then YouTube starts recommending me Lin-Manuel Miranda clips, which include his music for the new hit Disney film Encanto. I listen to the Encanto music. I listen to it a lot because it's very catchy. I've never seen the film. And so YouTube has now profiled me as a major Lin-Manuel Miranda fan. And
you are a major Lin-Manuel Miranda fan.
Well, I wasn't before this, but yes, his most famous thing is, of course, his Smash 2015-2016 hit musical, Hamilton. I get Hamilton YouTube recommendations. I watch them. I'm thinking, man, this is a little cringe, but also kind of banging. Listen to a bunch more. Figure, hang on, I can just listen to it on my phone. Listen to it on my phone. Fuck, I should probably just watch it. Watch it. That's what I mean. My schizo post over. It's all your fault.
I mean, if you want to blame me for you having a good time, sure.
No, it's a very major white woman moment, but yes, I do like the thing. I enjoyed it. It's pretty much the only other thing I've kind of watched in I'd say the past 2 weeks. The big surprise for me was going on Hololive. So I talked to Potato, and Potato of course shilled that the VTuber he likes had sung Hamilton songs. So I watched those and then it recommended other VTubers, and so I went on the VTuber channel and I was like, man, I fucking hate Potato. I'm getting VTubers in my shit now. And Fox was like, man, I've been listening to Hamilton all month. So me and Fox just talked about Hamilton. To the point in which it was for a bit, but Skynet actually left because he wanted to avoid the Hamilton chat. I was like, man, have you seen it? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, fuck Disney. I've got it downloaded. I'll stream it. And so the next day we did a watch along. Capri and Capri had also listened to it, and Sleepy watched the whole thing with me. And we got some fucking banging memes out of it.
You did.
It was a fun time.
I have.
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh no, really. I'm just agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean
that
that's
things
it.
in fact did happen.
Yeah, things happened. Sleepy's quotes were yeah, it was, he wouldn't have watched it if it wasn't that he could meme it on Biko, but he enjoyed it nevertheless. And yeah, that's it. And the next day, Russia invaded. So uh, we all have to answer for our sins, I guess. But I would definitely say if you haven't, I don't know. There's been 6 years of shilling. I don't need to shill this. But I'm not somebody who likes musicals, and I liked it. That's it.
All right.
All right.
Um, I will say then, on the topic of VTubers singing
Oh.
Hamilton, VTuber news that happened. Someone famous got fired.
Yeah, aren't they called Russia?
They're called Russia.
Oh, Russia.
which as their fans in Japan cried out in support with the hashtag We Love Russia, it auto translates to Russia.
Yes.
I did end up like doing the rudimentary like research into this whole thing. Because like who the fuck is this girl? Why did she invade Ukraine?
Yeah.
It's
drop a red pill.
It's been an interesting thing, and sort of just the hypocrisy of VTuber fans I'm finding, sort of. Like, so best I can gather from rumors and whatever, as well as the corpos speak, what she did was leak like very kind of sensitive information of like behind the scenes stuff, like staff and essentially and all that, because of like screen caps of things. Like if you screen capped your entire like Discord DMs, like list of people, and it had like like very special behind the scenes people that aren't supposed to be made public. That's kind of how she fucked up and why she got fired.
Which sucks, but I can understand.
Yeah, it's kind of a great breed, like obviously, and I'm obviously not putting it anywhere near as eloquently as I should be. But it's kind of things like, yeah, I understand why they're fired, but the fans, the thing I don't seem to get is this sort of hypocrisy, and I'm kind of going to be bundling everyone together to make this point, but it's like they go on about how we don't get why they fired her. She was their like highest earning whatever the fuck from super chats and what fucking have you. But the same people would have no issue criticizing like Twitch when some titty streamer does something fucked up and they don't get banned because they make them lots of money.
Yeah, you would have thought fans are massive hypocrites.
It's
they don't want the person they like getting fired. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the VTuber news, because I don't watch VTubers. And as Mike is reminding me on Steam right now, Elden Ring came out. Are you excited for Elden Ring?
No, fuck off, please, please. No, I'm. All right, okay. I'm not done schizo posting. I'm full on psyop posting now. My God, I am convinced Elden Ring is like backed by Chinese bots and like full on Russian botnet. Like, man,
don't worry about Ukraine.
Yeah, no, like it was. I mean, I didn't care until like maybe 2 weeks ago, when I just felt like everywhere, or I was starting to feel like everywhere I was fucking going, it was like Elden Ring stuff. Like I'd be on a world news thread. Yes, I unironically browse Reddit. I know, cringe. But I would be on a world news thread about something totally unrelated in like South America, and it'd be like, man, yeah, but like Elden Ring, and then people just talking about Elden Ring, not relevant at all, and then it would be on a anime picture or a Twitter, like a tweet about crypto bros taking L's or whatever, and all the fucking comments are just talking about Elden Ring, and they're always like the second most upvoted
Okay,
or the second
would you like
like
to know a secret about this? This isn't a Russian psyop or a Chinese whatever the fuck. Soulsborne fans are just that fucking obnoxious. That's the answer to this. It's a problem I'd had for a very long time. Is like you cannot talk about anything with it without them trying to shoehorn their shit into it. The one exception is real-time strategy games. That's my safe space. If I can't fucking stand like talking about like you want to talk about medieval weapons, someone's gonna bring up fucking Dark Souls. My one safe space is real-time strategy games. The one place they cannot fucking infect because it's a fucking cancer. So yeah, just like letting you know, this isn't a geopolitical thing. This is just a autism thing.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but yeah, no, for real, like yeah, it's just I'm not a fan of Souls games. But you know, I don't have a problem with them. They're just not my type of game. I am a proud casual gamer. You know, they're just not for me. But yeah, I'm sick of hearing about it. I hate it. I hate Elden Ring. I hate the mere mention of it. I can't stand. And yes, this is man has a go at other people enjoying life and having fun. But yeah, fuck. You know,
I mean,
it was like.
I wanna go on.
I was just gonna say like, and of course, there's like the unrelated thing of like I'm sitting here, you know, like watching fucking, watching a war in Europe start, and I just go on Discord and everyone's just fucking talking about Elden Ring, like fuck, like okay, I'm not saying you should care to the same degree, but still, it's just yeah. I don't give a fuck. That and everyone else gives a fuck, which means I'm automatically like have to be opposed to it, which in reality I don't. I just don't care.
That is a totally reasonable assessment of the situation. On the flip side, I am excited for Elden Ring, and I would wish that everyone shut the fuck up. Because the game costs $100 right now, and I don't want to pay that much.
You get shot. Yeah, fuck paying full price.
Yeah, so that's why I want everyone to shut the fuck up, so I can still enjoy it in like 2 years' time when it does not cost $100. Except that like that doesn't seem to be happening. Because I've been saying that for all the other games on my shit to do list that I'm mildly curious about. And if I look at everything, like if I look at my wish list right now, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out on the 6th of December of 2019 and cost $100. Cyberpunk 2077 came out on the 10th of December 2020 and is currently $50. Down 50% from $100 on sale. Nier Replicant is $100. Like, obviously I've got no fucking shortage of games. I have like fucking 700 things on my Steam account. I can afford to wait, but yeah.
Base being an informed consumer and waiting, like.
It feels like some sort of bastardization of things. Like, I remember the good old days when everyone was like, bro, we should get in on this Steam and digital distribution stuff. Like, now we don't need to pay all these exorbitant prices for like video games, and there's all these 90% off sales, and
Oh yeah, the good old days.
now we're here in 2022, and um the games online cost as much as games in store, and
Yeah.
because there is a limitless supply, they don't devalue because Steam isn't going, oh shit, we have this much fucking shelf space and the new Call of Duty game is coming out in a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Like oh sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, it's just
Well.
I'm mildly pissed off at the corruption of digital sales platform.
Yeah. Like fuck I remember being right I remember having to pre-order, or sorry, begging my mother to pre-order Pokemon Platinum for me when I was like 9, because my local store, Granger Games, rest in peace, gone but not forgotten, would only get so many in, and so many people wanted it. There was a legitimate thing where if you didn't pre-order it, chances are you weren't going to be able to get it for the first week, because there was a limited supply because there were physical copies, and it was like if we couldn't pre-order it there, then we'd have to go all the way into the city, and we used to live way further out than, like, more further out than I do now. So, to get it, there was a real reason to pre-order, because there was like a chance that the game may not be available. I know my brother did the same thing for Skyrim. Um, whereas in digital distribution, there is no reason to pre-order, none, and yet it's still something that, like, of course, it's going to still be an option, because a company would rather have money now than money later. Like, it's just a reality. But yeah, there's like, it's one of those anachronistic holdovers from physical distribution that there really is no need for.
Well, I mean, it's the incentive has now been replaced with fucking what's it called? Pre-order bonuses.
Yeah, of course.
But even then, like 70% of the time, you can buy the deluxe edition like 3 years later, and it comes with the pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that really fucked over. It has kind of fucked over new games of Fallout New Vegas. So.
Oh yeah. You start in the game and you just get all this fucking shit.
Yeah. So well, it used to be like the pre-orders for them. You got one of those packs.
Yeah.
In the Game of the Year edition, but like the definitive edition, you get all 4 of them at the same time, and it's just a little much.
It is, yeah. But I first played New Vegas like properly as that deluxe version, and so I didn't really understand. I thought like that was all just stuff that you got in the game. It's my brother who told me, actually. It was you wouldn't have normally gotten all this stuff, yeah.
Well, it's mildly less overpowered than patch 1.0. I'll tell you that, because I had Fallout New Vegas on my 360 and no access to the internet, so it never really updated. And there was a great little glitch there once upon a time where one of the casinos, you could cash in your chips, except you keep the chips. So you'd have like 50,000 chips. You'd say, yes, I'd like to cash these in for bottle caps. You'd get your 50,000 bottle caps, and you'd still have 50,000 chips.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay, infinite money glitch. Not that I fucking needed it, because I still played, like, my character's always had like a minimum of like 7 luck.
Yeah.
And I just put on some pajamas and go to the casino and rob them fucking blind in blackjack.
I should say, speaking of games, something I totally forgot about because, I mean, it was last week, but it feels like an eternity ago. I started playing Jump King.
You did.
That was a thing that happened.
I have distant memories of this.
Yeah, it feels like a fucking ancient history, but no, it was literally just a last week. I'll be honest, I didn't like consciously stop playing. It was just other things kind of crept up that I needed to do, and yeah,
I agree. A lot of things have happened.
yeah. So, but I just kind of like, oh shit, I haven't played in like 5 days. God, all my fucking jump timings are gonna be off when I open it again. Fuck. But yeah, I for across like 3 days, I would hop into VC and stream just 4 or 5 hours of me just jumping and falling off a ledge
You
endlessly.
fell off.
Um, Fuck. I at least know that I got past the halfway point. I know that. Like getting up to the wind stuff and yeah. But yeah, fuck. I still really want to finish it. But I need to keep my sanity, I guess. So
Especially during these trying times.
yeah, so yeah, I mean it was fun. It's definitely a game if like I could only play while streaming. Like it's not something I could play on my own. Um, you know, to the void. But yeah, it was mildly fun. Oh, I think I am well and truly out personally of stuff. You got anything?
I don't know. Yes and no. I
Oh, go for it.
I don't know. Work gave me like the final sort of warning that if I don't get the vaccine, I'm fucking fired.
Oh yeah, so you used yeah. Talk about this because I read it and you used a term that
The gay yeah the
don't say it. Don't. Oh, right. I deliberately didn't respond to it because that was something on the Ord server and it wasn't necessarily a story I wanted to port on to hear.
the more you know.
But yes, I did see this, so please tell.
I didn't know that it hadn't been passed on. Good to know. But yeah, it's just a kind of sort of gross breach of privacy, in my opinion. Of basically, the boss was wanting to hand me the letter to inform me that I am to attend a meeting sometime next week to discuss why I think this vaccine is a crock of shit. However, the way it happened was he couldn't find me, so he spent a good long while walking around with a big white envelope with my name on it, asking my coworkers if they had seen me during a tumultuous time in which they're investigating, the staff that are not vaccinated.
Yeah.
Basically, sort of broadcasting to the entire fucking store that it's that I am the unclean and I think it's none of their fucking business. So I kind of had to spend all of what day was that now? Is that Thursday, Wednesday? I think it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday because it was between that and the invasion that I didn't get much fucking sleep. I ended up having to deal with a lot of coworkers asking me questions that were none of their fucking business.
Yeah.
So I'm not happy about that.
So, are you going to make a stand? on this.
I
Because I will say we've talked about this before. I've said that I don't fully agree with your position, but I can absolutely sympathise with this being a step over a line. That were it for something that's not about the vaccine, would be in violation of a lot of laws, I think, regarding confidentiality. So
yeah, I ended up looking through it because they do have a thing for privacy, but it's such a non-way of fucking saying, like, it basically says like we your private information will be protected except for all the times where we don't protect it.
yeah.
Where is it? Where the store obtains information regarding the team members' vaccination or COVID-19 status or other information in accordance with this policy, it will deal with that information in accordance with the Privacy Act of 2020, including by storing that information securely. The store will only disclose such information where it is required to do so to achieve the purpose of this policy or perform our role as employer, or as otherwise required by law or government agencies such as the Ministry of Health. This may include storing this information in secure third-party hosting or payroll platforms. Where required, the store may disclose team members' information to company and its associated other members' companies. End quote. So, I'll be interested to see what they fucking say about it, but saying, oh, we protected your privacy by not violating all the things that we said that we wouldn't do.
The problem is that it's the vaccine, you know. So certain things that seem to apply in other cases don't.
Yeah, well, it's also a matter of, protecting your privacy doesn't really work when, like, the ultimatum is there as well. Like, it's like saying, like, we won't, we won't publish, like, who you voted for in an election, but, you find out 2 weeks later that everyone who didn't vote for the establishment party is executed. Like, you kind of know who everyone alive voted for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's at that point, whether you like it or not, everyone knows what my vaccination status is, regardless of the fact that it's none of their fucking business.
Yeah, like I think if they just took you, they just had the meeting. I told you this. I don't think there's any problem. I think the company's within their rights to do that, and whatever. And you're within your rights to try and fight it or not. But yeah, the very loudly telling everyone about it is.
It's. I mean, it's one of those ones where it's like technically they didn't say anything, but the 95% of the population that has the IQ enough to perform deductive reasoning.
Yeah.
I forget like at what IQ level deductive reasoning stops. But it's the joys of just normal distribution.
Yeah.
It's probably around 90 to 85 maybe.
Yeah, 85 is a number that's thrown around a lot in terms of below this IQ you are whatever. But I mean, IQ is just a signifier. It doesn't actually mean anything in and of itself.
Yeah, I think it was like 85 is around the point where even the military is saying we have no fucking use for you. And trust me, they've fucking tried.
Like IQ is just one of those things where, like, it's not worthless, but it's far more of a what's the word? Like a corollary sort of thing in that. Yes, people who have low IQ are typically retarded, but also retarded people also do bad in virtually every test. So it's like it's not that IQ is worthless, but it's just assesses a very sort of specific thing that correlates kind of to general intelligence levels, but doesn't actually signify general intelligence. Like theoretically, you could be a very smart person and not have a great IQ, and vice versa.
I
It just doesn't.
I would disagree in a way. Maybe it
Okay.
kind of depends what you're trying to say, and what I think you're trying to say is that like having a low IQ doesn't necessarily mean like you have we'll say a like actual brain damage.
Yeah,
like it doesn't mean you have to look like you have fucking cerebral palsy. You could be the literal like gorgeous bimbo, fucking blonde, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But what the IQ really does track is the way you can logically like process information. And I think it kind of does do that fairly accurately. There is a green text that explains this, and yes, 4chan is the greatest of sources. Basically saying like giving examples of when people actually cannot process certain information, and there's sort of like this they cannot process certain hypothetical situations.
Yeah.
Like, and it does. And the example they give is like, if you ask them like, if you had not eaten breakfast or lunch today, how would you feel? And their response is, I did eat breakfast and lunch today. Yeah, but like, what if you didn't? Why are you saying I didn't? I did.
Yeah, but that I would say that's a fairly low bar. Like, okay, there's people who say IQ tests mean nothing, and I don't agree with that. I don't think IQ tests are worthless. I just think it's not. It's just one of a theoretical many tests that could be performed that correlate somewhat, but at the end of the day, don't really mean a ton. Plus, there's like age gating on IQ as well. Like, it's like, have you ever taken a proper IQ test?
To the extent of my knowledge, no.
Right. I have when I was younger. So I will say I have not taken a adult IQ test ever, apart from those fun ones online that mean nothing. But
I took the BuzzFeed
I did
IQ
have to
test.
I did have to as a kid, and I've kind of stumbled on actually saying something a bit personal, maybe something I don't. I always did pretty well, pretty high. Not insane high, of course not, but like I'd be in STEM or something. But I always did pretty well, and there were people who did worse. And at the end of the day, I don't think it matters too much if they put in more effort, or like shit. I should have tried to think about this more before going into.
Yes, it's really like throwing off this whole assertion that you are high IQ.
I never said I was high.
What do you mean you can't like formulate a sentence? You must be retarded.
Damn. Again, I'm not going to give a number, because giving a number, again, I think people put a lot of weight into that.
Mine is 420.
All I will say is, I think everybody knows the boundaries for genius and such. Supposedly, I did not get that. Of course not. But I did pretty, reasonably high enough. Like, but it just doesn't matter in the fact that there were people. If it doesn't mean a whole lot. It just correlates to a bunch of, as you say, information processing skills. But I think that if people can do a minimum, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because as long as certain minimum skills can be reached, I think most things are attainable for anybody, apart from, I would guess, extremely high level complicated theoretical exercises that I would say would be things like high level STEM work. I think that if somebody can read and write and perform deductive reasoning, they can pretty much do 99% of things and could get that, could do them and perform them with sufficient training and sufficient time to a high level. Maybe not the highest, but to a high level. To somebody who maybe had 20 points of IQ higher, could do them as well. Like, of course, if that's the thing, if your IQ is so low that you can't do things like that, then yeah. But then you're just talking about, again, like mental retardation, in which they will fail virtually any test because they are retarded. So that's my spiel. I should also say I'm not an authority on this. I don't know. I may entirely be wrong. This is all purely my own conjecture and my own opinions on education and what IQ means.
Bro, Sam, I'm also not a professional.
Yeah. So if you have a peer-reviewed study that shows everything I've said is absolute bullshit, feel free to link that. I may entirely be wrong, but yeah,
I mean,
I'm a firm proponent.
my peer-reviewed study is the time when McNamara tried to get the mentally retarded into the army, and it didn't work as well at all.
But again, that's retarded. That's retarded. That's. I mean, it is retarded, but those are retarded people. There's a.
And it's funny to say it because the immediate thought you get is just like strapping a fucking gun to a Down syndrome kid and like telling him to run towards a fucking foxhole.
Forrest Gump style.
Yeah, except the reality is they were trying to get them to be like cooks and janitors.
Yeah.
And the concept of trying to mop a floor was a bit too much for some of them to handle. To the point they needed like they needed a like direct supervisor to watch them fucking do it, and at that point you can just get a normal person.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember watching about that. I like Ken Burns. He's one of the few US like American documentary makers I like to watch, and
I've never heard.
yeah, he's got a great views on the Vietnam War.
Good tune. Is that like BYRNES?
Yeah, BURN.
All right.
We did the Civil War, the Vietnam War. I highly recommend the Vietnam War, the Civil War, and the history of baseball. Though I know you're not going to care about that, but
I only care about. I only vaguely care about one of those three things.
Yeah. Hold on. I want to search up. Oh, he did one on Prohibition. That's like a 3-parter.
I mean, I say like I only really care about one of those things. Like you get anyone talking passionately enough about something, I'll fucking listen.
Yeah. Oh, he did a. Oh, did he do a World War II one? Shit, I've got to watch that. Fuck. He did the Civil War, baseball, jazz, the war, national parks, Prohibition, the Roosevelts, the Vietnam War, and country music. And yeah, he's won Emmys and stuff. He's his style's kind of parodied quite a bit. It's very much the he was one of the progenitors of showing B-roll and panning over photographs while talking, and like again something that virtually all YouTube video essays do now. But when he
What?
started.
What
It
do you
was
mean?
kind
I
of
thought
an inventive thing.
I thought all YouTube videos these days use like stick people to like illustrate things.
Either stick people or giant avatars of blue dragons. Yes, that is all I know. Um, well,
It's been a shit fucking week. Thanks for coming, everyone.
yes. Do we have any listeners in Ukraine? We don't, do we?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't checked the analytics, but I fucking doubt it.
I was surprised that you were saying that people on different servers listen to this, right?
No?
From other servers you're in. Oh, okay. Did I just entirely? Did I see that in a dream? Fuck. All right. Well, it's funny that you've said this thing. It's just something you didn't say. Okay, fair enough. Sorry. Say something. Don't leave me on read.
Oh,
Don't leave me hanging.
thanks for coming, everyone.
Yep. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.